I thought we were unbreakable until the night I heard a laugh in her hallway that wasn't meant for me. Opened the door and watched the life I'd built fold in seconds as the truth rushed in. What I did next changed everything, from where I slept to who I became. Before I dive into all the details of my story, don't forget to subscribe if you love hearing unforgettable life experiences. One sound can redraw a life. For me, it was a laugh that didn't belong in our hallway, warming the air that used to be ours. I stood in the kitchen with a new job badge still clipped to my shirt and felt the floor tilt, the kind of drop you feel in an elevator when it moves before your mind catches up. In the next 10 seconds, I had to choose: burst into the room and set everything on fire, or step back, breathe the colder air, and see clearly. If you've ever stood on that edge, stay with me. And if stories like this help you feel less alone, subscribe now so you don't miss the next chapter I'm finally brave enough to tell. I'm in my early 30s. My wife, let's call her A, is mid-30s. We built a small, loud, beautiful life. 5 years together, a son who is 2 and nonverbal, a calendar full of therapy appointments and grocery lists and dreams about a house with a yard. People called us couple goals, which always made me laugh because the reality was sinks full of dishes, inside jokes, and tag teaming bedtime like a relay. We were a team. We said that a lot. We meant it. If I rewind, I can hear the first soft click in the machinery. 8 weeks before everything cracked, I introduced it to someone I'd known for a decade, call him M. He and I were never close. He drifted through relationships like weather, always passing through, always explaining the storm like it wasn't his. He'd tell me things I didn't ask to hear, send hints I didn't want, carry a kind of restless energy that made rooms feel smaller. I kept him at the edge of my life, someone I knew, not someone I leaned on. When he met A, it was twice. Quick, casual, nothing to bookmark. 2 weeks later, A woke up and told me we were over. It wasn't a fight. It wasn't an argument that drove off the road. It was a sentence delivered like a package, flat, taped shut, already addressed. The morning I started a new job to help us step toward that house, she ended her home. If you need a breath, take it. I needed one, too. The first days were a blur. I wouldn't leave. I had to. My toothbrush in a pocket. My favorite hoodie folded like a small animal. She took as much money as she could reach. Within 24 hours, there was new lingerie in the house and a story about a forever future with a man she'd known for 1 week? 2, if you counted the echo of texts that start too late at night. I watched for an apology and got logistics. I waited for a conversation and got announcements. And then I heard the sentence that made the hallway tilt again. He was going to meet our son. Let me pause here and say this clearly. Everyone in this story is an adult. Consent matters. Responsibility matters. And our child is not a plot point. He is a person. I won't exploit his details. I'll only say that parenting him taught us a different kind of language, one without many words, full of pattern, patience, and presence. That language is what kept me upright. Back to the day the laugh floated down our hallway. I didn't burst in. I didn't audition for the role of chaos. I picked up my bag, walked into a cooler room in my mind, and left. I slept on a friend's couch that night with the hum of a refrigerator for company and the shape of a life I no longer had, mapped onto the ceiling. If you're still with me, hit like so the algorithm knows to put these kinds of stories in front of people sitting in similar kitchens, holding their breath for the next 10 seconds. In the morning, anger arrived dressed like efficiency. I went back while A was out, packed essentials, and stood in the doorway of what used to be our bedroom. The bed looked like a stage after the play. I thought about leaving a note and decided the cleanest sentence was the one I could live with. Silence. I closed the door and chose not to rehearse what I would have said. The messages started. Where are you? Can we talk? This isn't what it looks like. Then it became, I love him. This is forever. In less than a week. Went from, we're trying for another baby, to he's my future and he's meeting our son. I don't share this to shame her. I share it to explain the whiplash I'm still massaging out of my neck. You might be wondering about M. I'd known him long enough to recognize a performance when I saw one. An older man who turned attention into a mirror and asked you to admire him with it. Restless, practiced, impatient with consequence. He said things like, I'm too old for more kids, and then a week later said he wanted to parent my child. He told his own partner a different version of events than the one standing in my hallway. Red flags waved like a parade, and it treated them like confetti. Here's the first cliff I didn't see until I'd already gone over it. I kept trying to match the speed of her story. When someone you love slams their foot on the accelerator, your body wants to speed up too, if only to stay in the frame. But healing doesn't sprint. It measures the room, sets down the couch carefully, learns where the light switches are dots, so I went slower. I found a small place with a lock that answered to my key. I filled it with quiet things, a kettle that whistles, a lamp that makes a circle of gold on the floor, a list on the fridge of appointments to keep. I told my new job what they needed to know. Medical appointments for my son continue. I'll meet deadlines. I will not carry chaos into conference rooms. I let the days be ordinary on purpose. Ordinary can be a life raft, mid-story check-in. If this kind of measured storytelling helps you, subscribe. I won't rush you. I won't sensationalize me. I'll just tell the next true thing. The next true thing was paperwork, the unglamorous backbone of moving on. Bank calls, password changes, conversations with a therapist, and yes, a lawyer. Not because I wanted a war, but because boundaries are not wishes. They are drawings you make with ink. We discuss parenting plans, safety, introductions. I learned how to say no without an essay attached. I learned how to say yes to help without apologizing for needing it. There's a moment people always ask about. Why did she do it? Why him? How can someone be so sure so quickly? I don't know. I know the version of A who planned a life with me. I also know the version who folded that life in 24 hours and opened a new one with a stranger I had known well enough not to trust. Both can exist. Humans are multitudes, which is not the same as being mysteries. The answer that steadies me is simple and unsatisfying. Her certainty is not my responsibility to understand. My responsibility is what I do next. That doesn't mean I didn't spiral. Grief arrived wearing different outfits. Disbelief in the morning, fury at noon, numbness at 4. At night, it showed me a highlight reel that wasn't kind. When my ADHD brain wanted to time travel through every argument we never had, I gave it a job it could complete. Label a box. Job until your lungs remind you you're alive. Cook something with too many steps so your hands are busy and your head is quieter. The body can carry what the mind can't catalog yet. At about the 1/3 point of this story, I thought the worst part was behind me. Then it said he was going to meet our son. That sentence made the room draw smaller. It isn't just introduction, it's access. Safety isn't an abstract when you're raising a child who experiences the world differently. I could list my concerns about him, but this isn't a courtroom and you aren't a jury. I'll say this instead. When we invite new adults into a child's life, we owe that child slowness, intentionality, and proof that this new circle can hold them without breaking. Chose speed. I chose to write down my boundaries and hand them to people who could help enforce them. 2/3 of the way through, something shifted. I stopped expecting an apology that matched the harm. I stopped auditioning for the role of reasonable X in a play I didn't cast. I saw A and M outside a cafe one afternoon with that new story glow. He with that familiar mirror smile, and my pulse spiked for a second, the way it does when a car brakes hard 2 lanes over. I nodded once and kept walking. Power, it turns out, sometimes looks like nothing. It's a door closing softly and locking from the inside. If you're still here, drop a comment and tell me where your line is. Would you insist on a pause before a new person meets your child? Would you confront the new partner? Would you go straight to paperwork? Your answers help someone else shape their next hour. And if this video has found you on a night when the house feels too quiet, tap like it tells the system to carry it to someone still sitting in their car with the engine off. The practical updates. I sleep through the night more days than not. My son continues to teach me new ways to listen. My friends keep a spare key and a spare chair for me when I forget how to eat dinner alone. Work is work, I show up, I deliver, I leave. I don't tell my story in the break room. I save it for places like this, where it can be held with care. Do I miss her? I miss the version of her who made grocery lists with me and left notes on the bathroom mirror. I don't miss being asked to believe a story that didn't include me. I don't miss feeling like I had to explain my instincts as if they were bad manners. When someone tells you your internal compass is broken long enough, you start walking in circles to prove it. I've stopped circling. North is north again. There's a part of me that wants a clean moral. Never introduce partners to acquaintances. Or always trust your first shiver of doubt, or beware the person who moves too fast. But real life refuses slogans. So here's what I'll offer instead. If your gut says slow down, let slow be sacred. If a new person is suddenly the answer to everything, ask which questions were ignored. If someone asks to meet your child, remember that not yet is a full sentence. And if you're the one whose story was folded without warning, you are allowed to build a smaller life with a wider sky and call it an upgrade. Before I close, I want to hear from you respectfully, thoughtfully. Have you ever watched a partner become a stranger overnight? What helped you keep your center when the speed of their decisions tried to pull you off balance? Would you have handled that first hallway moment differently than I did? And if forgiveness is on your horizon, is it for them or for yourself? If you believe in hard truths told gently, hit like. If you want more first-person confessions that stay SFW and still say the unsayable, subscribe and turn on notifications. If you think someone needs this today, share it. These stories travel further than we think. Tonight, I will make tea in a kitchen that knows my footsteps. I'll set out 2 cups, one for me, one for the future that isn't rushing me. I'll sit on a cheap couch that fits my whole body and listen to the quiet hum of a room I pay for and protect. The city outside will fall silent. The curtains will close. And somewhere a laugh that isn't mine will drift down a hallway I no longer have to walk. I will choose, again, the colder air that clears the view. I used to think closure was something someone else handed you, wrapped up with the explanation you wanted most. It isn't. Closure is 100 small doors you close yourself, each one with your name on it, each one creating a room where you can finally sleep. And when morning comes and it does, you open one door, step into your own light, and start living like the main character of a life that belongs to you.